couple of seconds probably to get in. So while we're waiting, if you have a tennis ball, a yoga block, a PVC, a broomstick, a t-shirt, or something to hold on to, those things might come in handy, but they're definitely not necessary for the class. Let's see. Okay. Nice, broomstick for sure. Cool, yeah, so props you might want, broomstick, PVC, a towel or something to hold on to. Again, if you don't have them, not a big deal. Yeah, a belt works just as well. Those are just fun things that you can use for like extra feedback, but we'll kind of manage without them either way. So if you're new, what's going to happen is you'll stay kind of muted. You definitely have the option to blank your screen out if you don't want to be seen, but if you have your screen on, I can see you and try to give you feedback. If you have questions, you can definitely unmute the screen and just ask, or you can type. I think there's a chat situation that you can also ask a question to, so I'll try to kind of watch into it. If you've never done this class before, we're just going to try to capitalize on getting a little extra range of motion, playing and kind of seeing what we've got. We don't want to encourage pain though. So if you're having issues with something that we're doing, please try to modify or ask me how you can modify, because we're all working with different stuff. So like something that I'm doing, don't worry about the way that it looks. Just try to feel those sensations in your body. So it's just really kind of feeling into what you've got, what you're working with, and seeing like how can you improve those things. So again, no pain is no gain. We're not looking for that today. So stay away from pain. So we'll start with CARs, controlled articular rotations. That just means we're going to start with taking our joints through their greatest, safest range of motion, trying to limit the motion from other joints in the body. So we'll start with our cervical neck just because it's nice and easy. So I'm thinking here, I'm just seated kind of crisscross applesauce, but you're more than welcome to kind of find a position that's comfortable for you. So in this position, I'm going to think about leading with my chin and nose. So I'm going to start drawing my chin down towards my chest, but I'm not just going to hinge and let it hang, right? So I'm dipped in cement from the shoulders down. I'm going to put my head on the wall behind me and then peel off as I try to get my nose as high up on my chest as I can. I'll freeze there. I'll drag the chin and nose across the collarbone to look over my left shoulder, freeze there, trying not to let my other shoulder come along. I'll drop the ear behind the shoulder as I start reaching up through the nose and face to look up towards the ceiling. And then I'm just going to do the same on the other side. So I'll start looking towards my right shoulder as I drop my cheek down. I'll try to touch my shoulder with my chin, and then I'll drag my chin across my collarbone to the center of my chest. And then we just reverse. So I'll start looking towards my right shoulder. I'll look over the shoulder, drop the ear, start rotating to look up towards the ceiling. And then I'm going to drop my ear to my left shoulder, rotate to look towards the left shoulder, chin drags across the chest, back to center. And I'm going to let you do that for 60 seconds at your own pace. So we're checking in, not moving anywhere from the shoulder. So don't let that chest rotate. Just go ahead and explore your greatest, safest range of motion. So every rep, I want you to go slow, thinking about a mile an hour. And we're trying to look, see where are the pinchies, the crunchies, the uncomforts, right? Because those are spaces you can maybe find to do some work in. Nice. We're going to keep the shoulders down away from the ears, trying to limit motion from the body. Make sure you keep breathing. We're halfway, so we're just going to keep moving. Shoulders are going to stay down. Keep breathing. Try to smooth out your motion here. You got 15 seconds. So if you can move less from the rest of your body and just from that upper neck, do that. Nice, and then just come to a resting position. We're gonna move the full spine, so I'm just gonna show you what a rep looks like, but similarly, we're gonna try to move the spine segmentally or in 3 different pieces. So I'm gonna set up in this tabletop or cat-cow position. I like to start fully rounded, so a flexed back. I'm gonna unlock from my tailbone, so I'm trying to stay rounded everywhere else. So I'm just taking my tailbone up to the sky. I'm gonna start walking up as I make wrinkles on the back of my shirt. Extending the spine, I'll look up, and then I'll make sure my arms are long, and then I'll tuck the chin, round up through the shoulders, and then I'm gonna walk down until my tailbone's the last thing that rounds, and then we'll just walk back up. So we're just thinking about making a nice little spinal wave from the pelvis up to the chin, and then the chin down to the toes. So let's start in a rounded position. If this doesn't feel good on your wrist, you can definitely put something under the butt of the hand to take yourself out of less extension, or you can lean backwards a little bit. So fully rounded, let's go ahead and unlock your tailbone, and you're just gonna start walking up towards your belly button, walking up towards the chest as you make wrinkles on the back of your shirt. You're gonna start drawing your chin up towards the ceiling as you spread that chest open. Nice. And then we'll reverse. So when we get there, we tuck the chin. And when we can't tuck more, we round through the upper back, following it down towards the pelvis, completely rounding the back, and then walk it back up towards the chin. So we're here for the next 60 seconds. So we want those elbows to stay locked out. So we're really isolating motion to the spine here. So really push the earth away from you. Good. So the tailbone's the last thing to move when we tuck under or round. So if you had a drink on it, it should be there until the very end. We're about halfway. Good. Arms are strong, they're long. Your scapula are away from your spine, so don't let them creep towards your spine. I want that chest open and proud. Keep moving. We've got another 15 seconds, so if you can go a little slower with a little more intention, do that. Elbows are long. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome job. So go ahead and shake it out. So we're going to hit some hips now. A lot of the work today is going to be shoulder work, but we're going to be hitting hip and shoulder extension. So I'm going to show you what the hip looks like really quickly, and then I'll let you find your setup. If you have a wall nearby, that's going to be most helpful. If not, a couch, a table, something to just kind of help stabilize you is going to be really helpful here, but it's not completely necessary. If you don't have that kind of nearby, we can modify for sure. So the position that I'm going to be looking for today is going to be this sort of half kneeling position. If you have a tennis ball or a sock to squeeze in your knee pit, that's what I'm going to have you do. But if you want to watch just a rep real quick, no big deal. So I'm going to squeeze that in my working leg. So from here, I'm up nice and tall. I'm just using this wall for feedback. So I'm just not letting it let me lean. So keep yourself nice and long. I'm going to bring the knee up towards my chest. I stop when I feel my back want to kind of round out. So I don't want that happening. So the pelvis, anything from the pelvis down or up shouldn't be moving. So from here, I'm going to peel my knee and ankle towards the wall, trying not to let myself rotate towards the wall. I'm going to keep the knee high as I try to drive my ankle up towards the ceiling while taking my knee around. So I'm drawing a circle with my knee. I'll take the knee around to open the hip, and then the legs come together. And then I'll take the knee back, open that hip up, drive that knee up into my armpit, and then I'm going to keep it high as I find my belly button. So we'll go through that for 90 seconds, but we'll go through one together. So go ahead and find a position. If on your knee doesn't feel good, you can always do this position standing. I like to go inside leg as the working leg just for a little counterbalance. So let's get our setup. Let's squeeze an object if you have one. It's definitely going to make things a little spicier, which is what we're looking for. So we'll squeeze that object. We're going to be nice and tall. We'll start driving that thigh up towards the rib cage, and we freeze when our back wants to round. Keep the knee high as we move out to find our armpit. We're going to drive the ankle up towards the ceiling as we take the knee around to open the hip. So keep taking it around as we draw our circle, and then we let the knees come together. Good. So I'm just going to show you from the side what it'll look like. So we'll go back now, ankle and knee move out, drive the knee up into the armpit, find your belly button. And now we're here for the next 90 seconds. So we're just taking our knee and drawing the biggest circle we can, trying to limit motion from the rest of the body. Nice. So we're thinking about that thigh just moving all around in space. If we can get our pelvis and upper body tighter, let's do that. Locking it down. If you've got a PVC or object you're holding on to, drive down into it to help stabilize yourself. You might get some cramps if you're holding on to something in the back side. We're really shortening that hamstring up. Good. I want you to stay tall and strong. This is where things start to get a little spicy. We've got about another 30 seconds here. If you can be more upright, do that. Good. So when you feel yourself lean out, resist. Awesome. Squeeze that object harder, move a little slower. We've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. We'll shake it out and then we're just going to switch sides. So we'll just kind of go through one together and right into our 90 seconds. So again, this is a really good time to start checking like your active range of motion. What do you have control over in your hip without your back coming along, right? Because these are starting to be important. So let's take that object, squeeze it back there. We're going to bring the thigh up towards our chest and freeze when that back wants to round. We're going to peel the knee and ankle out towards the armpit. We're going to drive the ankle up as the knee still moves around to the side, taking the knee around to open the hip. And then the legs come together. Awesome. And then we're just going to reverse. We'll send that knee back, open that leg up, drive the knee up into the armpit, then find your belly button. And right into those 90 seconds. So we're going belly button to armpit, driving the biggest circle you can. And we're checking in with that low back, right? So if we can be between two planes of glass, the thigh is what's doing the motion here. Good. Drive yourself into whatever object you have to be as stable as possible. Perfect. The belly button and the hip bones stay pointed forward. Awesome. I want you to squeeze your object harder and move just a little slower. We've got about 30 seconds left. If you can tighten the rest of your body up, I want you to do that. So every other limb has been dipped in cement. You've got 15, move slower, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, up tall. Keep moving. I want you to stay in motion for 5. And come to a resting position. All right, nice. Shake it on out, shake it on out. Cool, so we're gonna take it on down to the shoulders. You might have been building up a little bit of heat. I know that I am. So again, during this warm-up, we're really kind of checking in with our joints, seeing what is their capacity, right? So we're gonna move into the shoulders and we're gonna do the same thing. So I'm gonna draw a nice big circle, range of motion with my shoulder, trying not to move anywhere else. But we're gonna take this down to a collapsed position. So if this doesn't feel good for someone, we always have the option to just stay here, or we can put something under our butt. So I'll show you what that'll look like. If you have a tennis ball or that sock, I want you to hold on to it. All right. So I got my tennis ball, and a block also comes in handy here. If you can get into this kind of child's pose position, that's where we're gonna be. You can go block under the chest. That's gonna give you a little support and feedback, but if this position doesn't feel good to have your butt all the way back, you can also just sit on this and then take your chest down. So that's just gonna give you a little support for the knee. And again, if neither of these positions feel good, we can always just modify from here. So I'm gonna show you one head on here, and then we can just go through it together. So I'm gonna squeeze the ball. Blocks in my sternum for support. This is just driving down. I'm gonna reach the palm or the palm up towards the ceiling, and then I'm gonna turn my thumb up. And from here, when I can't reach higher, I'm just gonna start turning my bicep away from my ear and face as I reach up towards the ceiling. And I'm just drawing the biggest circle I can, rotating as much as I can. I'm gonna end with the knuckle on the thigh. So now my palm is away from me. I'm gonna lead with that thumb up to touch the ceiling, and then I'm gonna rotate to bring the soft part of the arm back to your ear. Thumb will go up to the ceiling, and then we tap the ground. So let's find a position that feels challenging, but good for you. If you have an object to squeeze, let's do that. And when we're doing this, we're really thinking about the upper part of the arm doing the rotation and most of the driving here. So let's go ahead and reach that thumb up to the sky and freeze. Oops, sorry, I started a little early. So keep reaching up as you now turn your palm and thumb down, rotating to reach up to the ceiling. You're gonna keep rotating and reaching as you start bringing the knuckles down towards the thigh. The ball or object should be away from you. If you don't have an object, your palm should be away from you. So take a breath, reach with that thumb up to the sky. And when you can't go further, you're just gonna open that armpit up. You're gonna start bringing the soft part of the arm back to the face. As you keep trying to reach for the ceiling, you'll tap the ground in front of you. And now we'll keep going through this for the next 90 seconds. So you're drawing the biggest circle you can, but don't let that chest open or peel away from your blocker object. Good, so both nipples should be pointed down towards the ground. You're always looking for more rotation. I said it, nipples. All right, we're gonna open. So again, we're really thinking about the bicep here moving. So turning the bicep away from your face and then bringing it back to your face. If you can squeeze your ball harder, I want you to do that. Make sure you're breathing. Try not to crank your neck down towards your mat. We're gonna go a little slower as you squeeze your object harder for 15, 14, less motion in the spine. Good, I want you to squeeze out every bit of range. We've got 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're gonna just shake it out, and then we're gonna just go into the other shoulder. Nice. So really good time to notice the difference in your shoulders, right? We do a lot of bilateral stuff, but there are a lot of big differences in our hips and shoulders, so it's good to start noticing those differences. So let's find our position. We'll squeeze the ball. You're gonna start drawing that thumb up to the ceiling and freeze when you can't go further. Keep reaching up as you turn your bicep and thumb away. Keep reaching up as you're rotating. When you can't reach up higher, you're gonna start bringing your hands and knuckles down towards the thigh, palm will be away. You're gonna lead with that thumb up to touch the ceiling and then start opening that armpit, reaching up for the ceiling as you bring the bicep back to the ear, tap the ground, and we're here for 90 seconds, so keep moving. So you're trying to smooth out your biggest, safest range of motion. I want you rotating more, more, more. Good, I want you to try to stabilize the rest of your body. The more solid your body is, the more work we can get into that shoulder right now. Rotation is what I want you focusing the most on. So rotate, rotate, rotate as much as you possibly can. Nice. Maybe let's go a little slower for the next 20 seconds. I want you to squeeze your object as you're moving in space. Pretend like that object is now a weight and you're having to drag it through space for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome job. Just finish your rep. Nice. Whew. Alrighty. So if you felt crispies and crunchies happening in there, a lot of times we do, as long as it wasn't associated with a lot of pain, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Could just be crepitus or gases popping in the joints. If it is associated with pain, I encourage you to just make your range a little bit smaller and maybe just work on smoothing that out and then exploring maybe the crispies and crunchies get less and less the more you expose your joints to these ranges of motion. So now we're going to work on shoulder extension. So that's going to be behind us. So that really comes into play when we're doing push-ups or dips or anything that we're having to take the arm kind of behind the body. So today we're just going to kind of do it from the floor. So I'm just going to be in sort of a crab position. My fingertips are going to be facing my butt though, but whatever is kind of comfortable for you. So I'm just taking the arms back. I am going to bend the elbows, and then I'm just going to slide the body away. And what I'm looking for is a nice stretch just kind of in this shoulder girdle in the front here. And so when we find a nice stretch, we're actually just going to hang out here for a little bit. So let's go ahead and do that. And as we sit in our stretch, I'll kind of walk us through what's going to happen. So again, if this doesn't feel good for whatever reason, you also have the option to kind of move into a position that feels a little better for you. This is support on the wrist, so it can be a little difficult for sure. So I want you just holding your stretch. The elbows are slightly bent here. Awesome. So we should be feeling a nice stretch just kind of in the front of the shoulder, armpit area, that chest. So when I tell us to, the action that I'm going to have us make is going to have you try to bring the arm forward, or basically you're just going to start getting heavy as you contract the stuff that you feel stretched. So if you could, you would be dragging your elbow through the ground to bring it back to your body. We're not doing it yet. So I'll cue us walking through, getting to our safest maximum effort to do that. We'll hold it for 10, and then we're going to do the opposite. So without really moving, I'm going to try to drive my elbows up to the ceiling, lifting my hands, so that's not actually happening because I'm in my deep range. So basically I'm taking this up to the ceiling to pull me deeper. So I'll hold that for 10 seconds. And at the end of the 10 seconds, if you're like, oh yeah, I feel a little bit more loose, you can just slide your butt away to kind of capture that opening that just happened. We're going to do that 2 times, ideally without you coming out of this position. So really what I'm looking for is you to continuously increase this range of motion as you get deeper into your extension. Does that make sense? Ish. Cool. Cool. So let's go ahead in that same position that we were sitting in that stretch. Just kind of follow me on the cue. So the action I'm making is getting as heavy in my hands as I can. And I'm going to start pretending like I'm dragging them forward towards my butt at 10%. 20% are your maximum effort. 30, 40, 50, 60. If you can start making your way to your maximum effort of trying to drive your hands towards your butt for 10, 9, 8, 7. So I'm trying to squeeze my hands that way. Keep going for 3, 2, 1 without changing anything. Try to pull yourself deeper by lifting the hands up, taking the elbows to the ceiling. You're contracting the opposite stuff now. So all the stuff on the back of the shoulder is working. Keep doing that for 5, 4, 3, 2. Do not come out of this position. Start relaxing into it. And if you feel like you can, maybe increase the stretch by taking the butt a little further away. And now you're just going to hang out here for 4 breaths. So again, you're still looking for that stretch on the opening side of the shoulder. Maybe you just got a little deeper into shoulder extension. Awesome. Maybe not. That's also okay. We've got 2 more breaths here. So nice long exhales as you sink into this position. So we're working the front and back of the shoulder here. So let's go for 1 more breath. Make your chest nice and big. Slowly start driving the arms and hands down to bring them towards your pockets at 10%. 20, 30, 40, 50. I want you making your way up to your safest, greatest effort, driving your hands down towards your hips for 10, 9, 8. You're holding nice and steady. Keep driving strong. 5, 4, 3, 2. Without changing anything, pull yourself deeper. Try to lift the elbows and hands up as you pull yourself down. Good. I want you squeezing into that. 5, 4, stay strong. 2, slowly relax into this position. Don't come out just yet. Just hang out there for just a second. Nice breath. Let your body relax into this position. Feel the opening happening. 2 more breaths. Nice, big, long exhale. Just kind of let it go. On your second full exhale, just slowly make your way out. Nice. And feel free to get a little motion to the shoulder. So what we just did there is called pails and rails. We basically just took you into activating both sides of the joint to help get you deeper into extension. So we opened up maybe a couple of inches or millimeters of range. And now we just want to go in and strengthen that while we have them open, because it's just a neurological trick to kind of get them open. And if we can train it long enough while we have it, we start getting that range of motion a little bit more accessible to us without having to train it. So if you have a broomstick or a PVC nearby, awesome. Towel or a belt, definitely. Tingling in the hands can be normal, definitely. And so you can always do that position from just a little bit less. There's a ton of nerve plexus here, right? So a ton of nervy stuff happens in here. And if that tissue is kind of fibrotic or doesn't have a lot of direction, kind of being in that position can definitely encroach and kind of piss some things off. So if you're doing that again, maybe explore with a little bit less range or a little bit wider of a hand. Cool. Awesome. So if you don't have the PVC or broom, a belt definitely comes in handy, a shirt, something that just doesn't have a ton of give. So if you have a band, it would want to be a thick band or double band it, because otherwise you're going to be kind of yo-yoing all over the place, which might just kind of suck for you. Wouldn't be so bad for me. So what we're going to do now is just kind of find ourselves in a kind of a kneeling position. So my heels are down on my butt, but again, if this doesn't feel good, you can go block under, or you can stand, or you can just stay here. So I'm going to show you kind of what's going to happen here. So I'm going to take my PVC. I'm about thumb's distance off of my hip. So you can kind of, can you see that? Thumbs here. I'm going to be behind the back. The knuckles will be facing my butt. So your palm should be kind of away from you. So in this position, when I'm down, I'm just going to kind of round down towards the floor and then take my hands up and let gravity just kind of take me down. Then I'm just going to sit back up, and as I start sitting up, I'm trying not to let my arms fall back down. So when I get here, I'm trying to activate so I can stay in this amount of shoulder extension. We'll hold for 10 seconds, and then we'll come back. So basically what I don't want to see is when you come up, you're just letting your hands kind of come down. I want you always driving your PVC as high as you can possibly get it. Does that make sense? So basically, if you're not feeling the back of this stuff turn on, you're probably not doing it right. If you need to go wider with the hands, no big deal. Just kind of notice what's your range of motion. So again, let's find our setup. We're doing 3 10-second holds here. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and start rounding forward. We'll let the hands just kind of fall and let gravity kind of take them down as far as they go. I want you to try to lift up and lock this position in as you start getting up to a tall position. I want you up nice and tall. Don't let your hands fall. 10, 9, 8, 7. I want you driving your object up to the ceiling. We got 5, 4, 3, 2. You're going to round forward. Good. If your hands dropped, I want you to try not to let that happen. Let's move up to the tall position. And we are going to hold here 10, 9, 8, 7. Get up taller. Move your hands up higher. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to round forward one more time. Last 10 seconds. So leave that angle right where it is. Meet me in its tall standing position. And we hold 10. 9, 8, 7, 6. Don't even let it drop a hair. I want that PVC to the sky for 3, 2, 1, and take it down. Good. We're going to move into some active stuff from that same range of motion. So I'm going to take my PVC. I'm in the same setup, but now I'm all active. So I'm going to take my arms and lift them to that height. My elbows stay locked as I bring the object to my back. And then I move here. So if my elbows were on a shelf, they're not dropping as I do that, right? So again, the action that's really happening is just in the elbow joints flexing and extending. My elbows or my humerus, it should be locked up into extension. Does that make sense? So again, it should be basically like the really gnarly tricep pump. Cool? All right. So with straight arms, we're going to take ourselves up, finding our highest amount of extension. The elbows stay locked as we hinge. 3, 2, 1. You touch your back, extend. 2, 1, and back. 2, 1, extend. 2, 1. I want you looking at the horizon. Bring it back to your back. 2, 1. Straighten the arm. 2, 1. We got 2 more. Flex. 2, 3. Extend. 2, 3. Last one. Drive the elbows up. Bring it back to your back. Drive the elbows up as you straighten the arms. And rest. Nice. All right. So we're going to do both of those things one more time. We're going to move into a little finisher and then a little bit of neck work. Cool? All right. So take a little break ski. If you need to modify your position, not a big deal, right? So maybe you do it standing or just kneeling today or this time if that didn't feel good for you. Again, you can also play with the width of the hands. And that can kind of dictate how kind of hard this will make things as well. So we've got 3 holds, 5 hinges, and then we're going to finish with a little burner. And then we'll just hit up a little bit of neck work just because we've been also stressing the neck muscles. Cool? All right. Let's find our position. So we're going to go into those passive range holds. So we're going to lean down, let the arms fall as high as they can towards the head and ground. I want you to lock that position into place as you make your way up to a standing tall position. The arms are frozen for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Your chin is level. 3, 2, 1. Round forward. Good. So go ahead and lock that position into place. It doesn't change as we stand. You're going to hold now. 10, 9, 8, 7. You're looking forward. Keep squeezing up. 3, 2, 1, and round forward. Good. We got one more. So we're thinking about the back part of the arm, the tricep being as high as we can. Let's stand up and hold. 10, 9, 8, 7. Give me more if you can. Get those hands higher for 3, 2, 1. Shake it out real quick. We've got those hinges. So we've got 5 hinges. You're just following my count. So it's a 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. So we'll lock ourselves into place. We're going to bring the hands back for 3, 2, 1. Extend. 2, 3. Back. 2, 1. Extend. 2, 3. Back. 2, 1. Extend. 2, 3. We got 2 more. Back. 2, 1. Extend. 2, 3. Last one. Back. 2, 1. Get taller. 3, 2, 1. Just shake it out. Nice. So to end with this, capitalizing on all that extension stuff, we're just going to do some eccentrics for shoulder extension and a little squeeze. So you can do this from a push-up position or just kind of a modified push-up on the knees. So let's see. So I'm just going to give us a count of 10 seconds. So you're going to try to hold yourself here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll tap down. You can kind of help yourself up. We're going to do that 3 times. On the third one, once we get down here, we're going to just lift and hold. That's it. Cool? So that's it. So again, and you can play with positions. Maybe you try your first one in a push-up position. You're like, holy shit, I'm spent. No way. That's okay. You can definitely do these from different angles here. So let's find your first position. I want your body solid. You're going to slowly start lowering for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can help yourself up any way that feels comfortable. Nice. So if you're feeling yourself kind of lower faster than my count, I really want you to try to stay with me, especially at that bottom little bit where you just kind of want to flop onto the floor. Resist, because that's that end range we're trying to hit here. So let's get nice and solid. And lowering 10, 9, 8, 7, squeezing every muscle in your body. 3, 2, 1. Gently help yourself back up. We've got one more. I want everything in your body as tight as it can be. Hold that as you lower. 10, 9, 8, 7. You're in control as you lower for 3, 2, 1. Awesome job. So we're actually just going to stay kind of laying on the floor right now. If you have your ball or object, another good time for it. We're just going to hit a little bit of neck extension because I don't know about you guys, but a lot of my days kind of set flex on my phone and my computer. So we're just going to challenge the back neck muscles just to help even the tone here. So I'm going to have my ball as an object that I'm lifting over. I'm going to look, and I start over to one side. So what this will kind of look like is just keeping everything planted. I'm just going to lift to my height, try to hover over my object, and set down. That's it. So we're just moving nose over to either shoulder, keeping all the rest of the spine on the ground. We're going to be here for 60 seconds. So if the object you're hovering over is too much for you, don't use it. But from here, I just want you kind of reaching out of the nose, chin, and face. If you can keep your whole spine, arms, and chest planted to really isolate motion to the upper neck, do that. Nice. Still avoiding any pinchies or pain, for sure. And really exploring that good, nice range of motion. You're about halfway, so if you can go slower, maybe your head just got a little heavier. Good, and we're gonna go a little slower for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome job. We're just gonna flip over and do the exact same thing, but now we're just gonna hit our flexors. So we won't really have an object, but I'm gonna look at one shoulder. I'm just gonna start drawing my head up and then my chin across my collarbone. Look at my other shoulder and then lower down. So we're just doing little half circles here. Again, I'm trying not to let my shoulders peel off the ground as I draw my chin and nose up to my chest. So let's go ahead and find our little half circles. We got about 60 seconds here. Again, just kind of staying away from pinching and pain, but maybe just noticing how heavy the head actually can be. Good. We still want to try to get that chin to the center of our chest, trying to get the nose as high up on our throat as we could curl it. Just noticing what the rest of the body wants to do when you're trying to move your neck. You've got about 20 seconds left. And then we'll just find a resting position. Nice. And we're just gonna end with just a little bit of hip work. We're gonna mostly focus on a little bit of extension today. It's not gonna be too much, too crazy. So if you wanna just kind of find a place that you can watch me again. What I'm gonna be doing is in the half kneeling position, but if that doesn't feel good because of the weight down on your knee or really for whatever reason, you do have the option to do it from standing, because again, what I'm looking for more is a sensation in a specific tissue than like making a specific shape. So the working leg is gonna be the leg, the hip that's down. So I'm gonna be kind of in a half lunge position, but try not to get all tightrope on it. Give yourself a nice wide base. From here, I'm just gonna think about, if I was flexing my leg, now I'm gonna think about extending it, and I'm gonna do that while I'm in this position. So I'm still thinking about extending it, squeezing all this stuff, driving my leg back. So if I could drive my leg down and scoop the earth behind me, I would do that to kind of sink me down into feeling a stretch on the front of my hip. So I'm working the back side of my hip to get a stretch on the front of my hip. When I get here, I'm going to do the opposite. So now I'm thinking about driving my knee towards my front heel as I now kind of get me back up to this standing position. So I'm not just kind of here, I'm using those contractions of my hip to move me down into hip extension and flexion. So basically I'll find kind of a nice hip extended open position, and that's going to be my end point. So we'll drive the knee down and back, squeezing all of this. Then we'll reverse, getting heavy, scooping the earth forward. So we're going to go 5 seconds down, 5 seconds this way, 5 times. Cool? Ish, right on. This one's a little confusing, but once you get it, you'll be good. So from the tall position, pretend like you could drive your leg down through the ground, send it backwards as you lower for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You should feel a stretch on the front of the hip. I want you to contract that, driving your knee down for 5, 4, keep driving, 3, 2, 1. You're gonna reverse, drive the leg back for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drive the knee forward, try to scoop it forward, 2, 1, reverse, 5, 4. You're squeezing all this to bring the leg behind you, 2, 1, reverse, get heavy in the leg as you drive down, 4, 3, 2, we got 2 more, knee drives back, get heavy and scoop the earth behind you, 3, 2, 1, drive that knee forward, 4, 3, 2, last one, drive back, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're gonna scoop that knee forward as you pull yourself back up. Awesome. And then just from here, we're going right into the next exercise because we're almost out of time. You're gonna now just drive the knee forward as you find that same position. So I'm just doing an eccentric. So I'm gonna stay driving my leg forward as I lower. We're gonna do that for 5 seconds. So if you can drive max effort here, that's what I want you thinking about doing. So before we even sink, I want you contracting this stuff. So try to bring your knee forward. Feel how that turns on. Keep it turned on as we lower. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Help yourself up. Go ahead and load that tissue. So we're trying to flex this back knee as we lower for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax and help yourself up. Go ahead and load this leg. So we drive that knee forward and we go 5, 4. I'm still driving the leg down and forward. 2, 1. Help yourself up. And lower. 4, 3, 2, 1. Help yourself up. We got 1 more. Give me your best effort. Drive that leg forward and we sink. 4, 3. I want everybody to freeze. Keep driving at the bottom. Knees trying to drive down. 3, 2, 1, and relax. And we're just going to switch sides. Whew. So we're just moving right into it. So we're going to do that little 5 seconds either way, then 5-second lowering. So you should be on your opposite hip. And if you need to modify positions, no big deal. So we're going to go driving the knee down and back as we lower for 5, 4, 3, 2. You're going to find a nice open hip and reverse. So drive your knee forward as you move up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Drive the leg back. 4, 3, 2, 1. Drive the knee forward. 4, 3, 2, 1. And back. 4, 3, 2, 1. Drive forward. 4, 3, 2, 1, and back. Scoop the earth behind you. 2, 3, scoop it forward. 4, 3, 2, last one, drive back. 4, drive back, 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 back. Try to get the knee forward. 4, 3, 2, 1. Shake it out really quickly. We're going to go right into those eccentrics. So now we're just driving the leg down as we lower. So from your tall position, Go ahead and load that leg as you try to scoop the earth forward. We sink 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can relax that and help yourself up. Good. And load. We lower 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax and help yourself up. Good. All right, 3 more. Scoop that earth forward and lower for 5, 4. You're still driving. 2, 1. Relax to help yourself up. We got 2 more. If you can give me more, give me more. So pretend like I'm trying to pull your knee back and you're not letting me. Drive down. 5, 4, 3. Keep driving. 2, 1. Relax and help yourself up. Last one. We're pausing and driving at the bottom. So try to scoop your knee towards your front foot and lower. 5, 4, 3, 2. You're going to freeze and drive. 4, 3, 2. Relax. All right. Shake it out. That is all I have for you all today. Thank you. I think everybody's muted.